Hey guys, well it's been exactly 1 year since I started this Nazi Rider channel, and I thought I'd just take a minute to look back at where I've been over the past year, think about some lessons I've learned, consider where I might be going in the future, and really think about the direction the channel is going in.
The 1959 AJS Model 31 is a beauty and one of my father's favorite bikes. She's running great and not going anywhere. I'm looking forward to many more rides on that classic. The 1961 Matchless G12 is a really cool bike, a sister machine to the 59 AJS. It runs well and is a great bike to take out and find some back roads to carve up on a nice day. It does need a little TLC right now, and more projects on this old machine are coming to the channel soon. The 1966 Matchless G15 was another acquisition of my father's, but he didn't do much to this machine. It was very unique because of the time period it was built, being part Matchless and part Norton. It was a great bike, although fairly difficult to kick. It has been sold. I do miss my old 1972 Jeep CJ5. New Jeeps are more comfortable and much nicer to drive, but the utilitarian and tractor-like characteristics of the old CJ gave it a lot of charm to drive. And like all Jeeps, this was an incredibly capable machine on the trails. It has been sold and is currently running around somewhere in the southern Arizona desert. The 2003 Honda CRF 230F was my friend Brian's first bike and a great beginner bike to learn on. Like the XRs, the 230 is extremely reliable, very forgiving on and off-road, and an easy to maintain and work on motorcycle. Although it was a purebred billy goat on the trails, the suspension and power were lacking. It has been sold. My 2001 Honda XR250R is probably my go-to bike for a lot of my rides. I've had it for almost 10 years now and it has never let me down. I've bashed it, smashed it, rolled it down cliffs, ran it out of oil, and it still starts first kick every time. I've maintained it very well though. The 2004 BMW R1200C was an awesome mid-size cruiser. Very comfortable on twisty roads or highways. It was a great to look at bike and was smooth as silk to ride. It has been sold. The 2021 Jeep Gladiator is my current truck and is a great compromise between a truck and a Jeep. I enjoyed having a full-size truck and a Jeep for a time, but I sold a lot to buy this thinking it can do it all, and it can. I have 40,000 miles on it so far and not one issue. Sandy, the 2005 Jeep TJ, is still my friend Ryan's daily driver. TJs are probably the most beloved of all Jeep generations, and I don't think this one is going anywhere anytime soon, especially since Sandy is getting some pretty cool upgrades currently. More to come on that. I bought the 2004 Honda XR400R because I really wanted to compare it to my 250R that I have loved so much. It's a fantastic dual sport and was a lot of fun to build up the way I want, but it sits around a lot waiting for me to ride it, so it will likely be sold as well. The 1979 Chevrolet C10 was a long-term project for me. Just ask my wife how many countless hours of labor and parts I put into that thing. C10s are great trucks and are still very valid in today's world, especially this one with some more modern upgrades like fuel injection. This was the second C10 I've restored. It has been sold, but I am looking forward to my next four-wheeled antique project. The 1968 Triumph Tiger Daytona will never be sold. It was my father's first bike, and in a way, mine as well. It is fast, fun, nimble, reliable, and a beautiful piece of history. I'm looking forward to many more rides on the old Triumph as well. The 1941 Harley-Davidson WL is the oldest motorcycle I've ever ridden. It is a bike that I always stop to look at every classic show. The idea of owning and riding a vintage war machine has always been very romantic to my father and I, but the reality was a little different. It was a little hard to start, and the foot clutch, or suicide clutch as they're sometimes called, was a real learning curve to get used to. It was a super cool bike, but also has been sold. Oh, and the Thompson machine gun in the scabbard was a reproduction and are readily available. Frankie is still in the same current condition, still running great. It is still technically in mock-up condition though. Next I would like to take it apart, tidy up any loose ends, and really make it look like a nice custom build. I got to travel north to Moab, Utah twice this year, and every time it is truly a magical place. I'm looking forward to going back and running more trails in the Jeep and on the bike and exploring new opportunities. Last year, Dad and I made a pilgrimage to Birmingham, Alabama to visit the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum. The Barber is unbelievable, and I sincerely recommend a day visit there if you are interested and a fan of motorcycles and history. I also visited the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. I was surprised to find out that it offers much more than just a look at Ford's history. I wish I'd given myself more time or even another day to explore this unbelievable place. I learned I should always check my camera gear and wipe my lens. There's nothing worse than filming a great ride only to find out that your camera lens was smudged and the footage is virtually useless. Audio is a big part of filming, and I invested into a quality microphone after my cheapie crapped out. I was able to clean up the audio somewhat in the 1941 WL footage, but I was still very upset that my hardware had failed me. The drone captures some amazing shots, but as smart as it is, it's still a little stupid. I bought the Skydio 2 because it still has the best follow-me programming for drones, especially when paired with their GPS beacon, but it still gets confused sometimes, gets lost in the trees, and doesn't avoid things when it's landing. I'm getting better with it, but it's not perfect. Controversy sells. I had no idea of how well the video I made digging on electric bikes would do, but e-bikes are still fairly controversial. I am unbiased and I would love to own an electric bike, but was merely pointing out a character flaw and some physics principles in that video. Lighting is everything. I need to be more aware of how the camera will pick up the light. Knowing what time of day or even what time of year a shot will work best with the sun is critical. The flickering in Martin Canyon video drives me crazy. If I had filmed this a couple of hours later, it wouldn't have been an issue. Understanding YouTube, how the algorithm works, and using good thumbnail pictures is also something I need to work on. Because of human psychology, people are drawn to and click on certain things. There is probably a whole science to this that is closely tied to marketing. Filming in 4K is important because of the progression and improvement of the screens we are watching these videos through. I don't quite understand though why my 4K videos have these blank black bars at the top and bottom of my screen instead of being truly full screen. I'll figure it out. People say that targeting a niche and sticking to it is important in your channel's success, but mine this past year has kind of been all over the place. This past year I've had bikes, jeeps, travel videos, and different things. I mostly feature bikes and rides, but even then I'll have street, dirt, and antique bike videos. Maybe I need to stick to one thing. But I also know that a lot of the videos that I make are about what I am interested in, or to highlight my relationships with friends or family members. I'd like to sell a few bikes that don't get ridden much this coming year, and buy something newer that I can really enjoy and that viewers also want to see more of. I'd also like to take you on a ride to an off-grid location in a very special place to me. More to come on that soon.
Bottom line is, after all said and done, in the last year I've had a lot of fun. Some of the videos I've made were filmed prior to this past year. I think that's obvious in some cases. In this coming year, coming out with a video every single week has been pretty trying on me. I'm not trying to whine or anything, but I work full time, so 40 hours a week, plus, my life at home. So the bottom line is I may not come out with a video every week because I'd rather come out with some quality content and post it rather than some fluffer videos that are kind of pointless. So instead of posting something, rushing to get out something every week, I may just come out with a video every other week or every once a month for a little while until I can really get back into it. I need to reevaluate my priorities in life currently, but I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. I will be back, and Nazi Rider's not going anywhere. So stick around and stay tuned, and I'll show you what's to come. Talk to you soon. That's pretty good.